Clara and the Bookwagon by Nancy Smiler Livingston. Chapter 1. On the Farm. Clara lived on a small farm in Mayland. She helped feed chickens, she helped Mama cook stew, she helped take care of little Hans and baby Anne. In spring, she worked side by side with Papa, planting corn. Clara did not go to school. There were no schools for farm children. But Clara wanted to learn. She wanted to learn about the sun and the stars. She wanted to learn how corn grew from seeds. But most of all, she wanted to learn to read. Once after church, Reverend Strong showed Clara his family Bible. "What a big Bible," Clara said. "And what wonderful stories," said Reverend Strong. Clara loved to hear stories. She loved to hear them told in church. Sometimes she liked to make up her own stories. Some were about animals, some were about families, and some were about a farm girl just like herself. If only she could read stories, she thought. If only I had a story book of my own. But there was no money for extra things. Sometimes Clara got tired of doing farm work. Then she would lie down in the grass or in the rocking chair Papa had carved and dream. One day Clara was helping Mama bake bread. "Mama," she asked, "how does bread rise in the oven?" "Oh dear," Mama said, "I can't tell you now. I am very busy." Clara opened the oven door to take a peek. "Close the door, Clara," said Mama, "or the bread will not rise." "Yes, Mama," said Clara. She sat down in the rocking chair. Back and forth she rocked, back and forth. She thought about the bread dough. She thought about it rising and rising until it popped through the oven door. Clara laughed to herself. And the kitchen door swung open. It was Papa. He looked hot and tired. His boots were dusty. "Are you dreaming again?" he asked Clara. "Yes, Papa," she said. "There is no time for dreaming on a farm," said Papa. "Everyone must help or we will have no food on our table." "Yes, Papa," said Clara. Little Hans ran into the kitchen. "Eat, eat," he cried. "It's not dinner time yet," said Mama. "Come, Hans," said Clara. "We will set the table. Then I will tell you a story." "I will go out and chop some wood," said Papa. "Good," said Mama. "By that time, dinner will be ready." Chapter 2. A Trip to Town. Clara and the Mama was scrubbing clothes. "Mama, Clara," Papa called, "I have to go to town for more corn seed. We need flour and sugar too," Mama said. "Can I go with you?" Clara said. "I promised to help." Papa smiled. "Come along then," he said. Clara helped Papa hitch the horses to the wagon. Town was a long way off, almost 7 miles. We will be back by sundown," Papa told Mama. Mama waved goodbye. Hans waved goodbye. Baby Anne cried. Clip, clop, clip, clop. The horses plodded along. The sun was warm. The spring air smelled good. Clara and Papa rode until they came to a stream. "This looks like a good spot to rest," said Papa. He pulled the wagon to a stop. Clara ran to the stream and cupped her hands to drink the clear, cool water. "How good this tastes, Papa," said Clara. Papa took a drink and splashed the water on his face. "It feels good too," he said. Then Papa gave the horse a drink. "Papa, do you know what else would taste good?" Clara asked. "What?" said Papa. "A peppermint stick," said Clara. "A trip to town would not be the same without a candy treat," Papa said. Clara and Papa climbed back in the wagon and rode on. At last they came to town. Mr. Holzer greeted them. At the store. Nice weather we are having, he said. Yes, said Papa, good weather for planting. Clara looked around the store. There was thread for sewing, there was pots for cooking, there was tools for building. Then Clara saw the books, a shelf full of books. Clara took down one book and opened it. There were so many letters, there were so many words. It made her dizzy. Well, well, said Mr. Holzer, so you want to borrow a book? Clara looked up. How much does it cost? She asked. It does not cost a cent. It's a library book, said Mr. Holzer. My store is a book station. It does not cost anything to borrow a book, Clara asked. That is right, said Mr. Holzer. The books are free for charge. Clara ran to Papa. Papa, look, she said. I can borrow a book for free of charge, and I can learn to read. Papa did not smile. He put his arm under Clara. Books are for rich people, he said. Farm people like us do not have time to read. Papa put the book back on the shelf. Clara's eyes filled with tears. Papa handed Clara a peppermint stick. Here, Clara, he said, you almost forgot your candy treat. Come, it's time to load the wagon. It's time to start for home. Chapter 3, The Black Wagon. One summer day, Clara and Papa were weeding the garden patch. Clara, Mama called, I'm going to make blueberry jam. Would you like to pick the blueberries? Oh, yes, said Clara. She looked at Papa. Papa smiled. You have been weeding a long time, he said. I will finish this job. Clara took the bucket and ran to the wild blueberry field. She sang as she picked the blueberries. Suddenly she saw something coming down the road. It was a big black wagon. The wagon was pulled by 2 horses. A lady was driving it. She stopped and waved. Clara stared at the wagon. It was filled with books. Hello, said the lady. I'm Miss Mary, the librarian. And who are you? Clara told Miss Mary her name. Do you ride all the way from the city? Clara asked. Indeed, said Miss Mary. Do you like our new moving library? Oh my, yes, said Clara. I never knew there were so many books in the world, Miss Mary said. We have we have books for young, we have books for old, we have books for people in between. Do you have any for a girl like me? Clara asked. Indeed, said Miss Mary. We have Mother Goose and Father Goose. We have Wizard of Oz and all the magic Oz tales. We have Peter Pan and poems of every kind. Clara could hardly say a word. Would you like to borrow a book? Miss Mary asked. You can keep it until the next wagon trip. I wish I could, said Clara, but Papa says books are a waste of time for farm people. Nonsense, said Miss Mary. We will go speak with your Papa. Climb up here. Quickly, Clara climbed up into the book wagon. Chapter 4, Books for Clara. Giddy up, Miss Mary got on the horses moving. Bumpity bump, bumpity bump. The wagon moved along the dusty road. How amazing, thought Clara. I'm riding on a book wagon. I'm riding home on a book wagon. What will Papa think? Bumpity bump, bumpity bump. They rode right up to the garden patch. Papa looked angry. You have made a mistake, he shouted. We have no dead here. This is not a hearse wagon to pick up the dead, said Miss Mary. I'm Miss Mary Tickcomb, the librarian, and this is the first moving library. Papa frowned. I bring books to people who live in the country, said Miss Mary. Said Papa. Our farm is not the right place for a book wagon. The wagon is for all farms, Miss Mary told Papa. Books are for everyone. Why, we are too busy here, said Papa. Thank you and good day. Busy people must rest sometimes, Miss Mary said. Reading is good fun. Reading can teach you new things about your work too. Clara ran up to Papa. Please, Papa, she said. Papa looked at Miss Mary. I know Clara wants a book, he said, but she does not know how to read. If Clara wants to read, Miss Mary said, she will learn fast. Papa lowered his head. Well, Mama, and we only read a little. We can only read a little, said Papa. I can teach Clara, Miss Mary said. Clara tugged at Papa's sleeve. Please, Papa, she said, I will not read until all my work is done. Clara waited for Papa to answer. At last Papa said, I know you are good at keeping promises. I am, said Clara. Papa sighed. All right, Clara, you may borrow a book. Oh, thank you, Papa, cried Clara. Clara ran to the wagon shelf. Miss Mary, will you help me choose? She asked. Indeed, said Miss Mary. Here is an alphabet book to start, and a picture book of fairy tales. I will show you how to sound the letters. Clara looked at the alphabet book. She looked at the fairy tale book. Stories for me, she said. Stories for me to read.